with a contract status update and more. This is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we move on, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Rambles with notifications on, and don't forget to like the video. Talk about going after tag team gold that is outside of WWE. Given the partnerships WWE has currently, the Good Brothers said this on their Talkin' Shop podcast, with Luke Gallows first noting, I think that the partnerships are a really cool thing that's going on in wrestling now, because you wouldn't even, so the story I told earlier where the Dudley Boys broke out and all the young mid-carders were scared to talk to them because they'd get in trouble, they're TNA and we're WWE. Now we're going to go to NXT Tuesday, wrestle Hank and Tank, beat him hopefully. But we're going to see TNA guys there probably. You would have never thought that before. Joe Hendry, who we do believe in, I'm sure will be there. This is a cool time with the Noah, the TNA stuff. I don't know if we're on the list to make the crossover, but if there is anybody that is famous for making the crossover and doesn't get the credit, it's us. Arn Anderson then said, we'd love to go over to Noah, but I don't know what's written in the stars. We'd love to go over to TNA. For our fans that know us and followed us for years and haven't turned your back on us like so many did, for the people that have followed us, you guys know that we love this business and we are dying to wrestle. We're dying to be involved. We're just waiting for our storyline to bust in and do something. After confirming that he was no longer with AEW back in April, Parker Boudreaux promoted an upcoming Black Label Pro event saying this.
Just got invited to the first ever Pro Wrestling Combine. It will be hosted by BLP Crowning Glory, presented by DraftKings. The BFD is going to show up and show out like he always does. I'll see you guys soon.
Asked about the rumors of him signing with AEW, Michael Oku said this to Grapple. My honest thought is that it's very cool that those rumors exist and that they can be believed. AEW is a company that I would like to work for, and it's cool that I've had a lot of experiences working with a lot of their talent or working close to them, if you include the Jericho crews as well. Wembley Stadium, being anybody, the chance to perform at Wembley Stadium would be a really cool thing. And that's something that I would love to tick off and do. But at the moment, it's something that I'm open to and nothing more. Nothing that is confirmed. Of course, that would be my answer if I was confirmed, because everyone lies in wrestling. But I'm putting it out there. That is what I'm saying. So I've said it. When it comes to how WWE reacted to CM Punk's promo on Raw, where he challenged Drew McIntyre to a strap match, WrestleVotes wrote that, here are a few notes from last night's Raw according to a source. The company has lots of praise for the South Florida crowd, who were very strong most of the night. The CM Punk promo came across well, highlighting the importance of WWE's involvement with Fanatics Fest. Another standout moment was Liv Morgan's performance during TJD's attack. Her intensity resonated backstage with many. Showing off how he made his TNT championship, Jack Perry posted this to social media. Mentioning how Triple H takes notice of fan feedback to the WWE product on social media, Mike Johnson of PW Insider noted this regarding the Chief Content Officer of WWE Triple H, saying, "I've been told there are many times where he is scrolling through Twitter from the gorilla position at the broadcasts and paying very close attention to what the audience is doing and reacting to as the shows are going on the air." With Pat McAfee set to take a break from WWE commentary due to his ESPN College Game Day commitments, he said this regarding his comeback to the company at Raw last night.
For the greatest on the mic in every city we go, Samantha! It is an honor to be in the home of the Stanley Cup champion. Sunrise has been magical, and tonight will actually be my last Raw for about 4 months or so. I can't thank you enough for making this incredible night even better than it could ever fathom to be. I want to say some thank yous. Can you all help me out? So when I say, I just want to say, will you guys say, thank you? Okay, let's practice. I just want to say, thank you to the ring crew that sets up this place every single night for everybody to enjoy the shit out of the show. I just want to say, thank you to the people in the truck in the back that got all the cameras here across the world. I just want to say, thank you to the makeup crew that helps me look presentable on television and everybody else. I just want to say, thank you to the superstars in the back that lay their life on the line for the good of our entertainment and for being so welcoming to me and all of my dumbassness. I just want to say, thank you to the people in Gorilla with their big-ass brains who have shaped this industry for decades and decades, for being so incredibly kind to me. I just want to say, thank you to the TVL boys, the TV locker room. Thank you for being so nice, hanging out, sharing some gummies, maybe some combos. I just want to say, to Michael Cole, you're the greatest of all time. Thank you for making me look much better and smarter than I'll ever be. Working alongside you has been a dream come true. I've been watching you on TV since before I was born. You old bastard, you're only getting better. I just want to say, thank you! Into the WWE Universe, you all are the best. I just want to say, I'll see you in January. I love you. Goodbye.
Speaking of Triple H, former WWE star Paul London gave his thoughts on WWE's Chief Content Officer and went over his prior issues with him, saying this on Cafe de Rene. "Yeah, I do not hold a grudge. To me, it's funny to think back that I had threatened Triple H with a trident. I had brought a trident to TV one time and prodded it at Triple H, saying, 'Come on,' in front of everybody before the doors opened. Like an actual trident, like a metal trident you impale somebody. It's funny to me that he and I never got into an argument, but there was always this weird dance with us socially. Do I hate the guy? I never hated him. It takes a lot for me to hate anybody. Do I disagree with things that went down? I still do. I think they were bad business decisions, and of course, I'm going to seem biased, but I think a lot of people would agree with me. It's like the time when the lady handed me a picture of him as terrorizing, and she was like, 'Can you give this to Paul?' I was like, 'Yes, I can.' And I went into the locker room and showed everybody. He was like, 'All right, London, let's see it.' I was like, 'Oh, there you you are. I've been meaning to give this to you. And then when I threw the punches at his face and said I was just kicking it, nothing happened. Who knows? Maybe these are the reasons I just never won anything. Who knows, man? But none of that is stuff that if they were to come asking me, so we heard you think we need trampolines in the performance center, would you like to be our trampoline specialist? It's nothing where I would think, well, is Hunter still there? No, I would welcome fresh new opportunities regardless. I try to navigate through it as best I can, as we all do, and if it ever got to a point where there was something or somebody that I felt I didn't want to be associated with, then I just wouldn't do it. But that's not the case there. The one person I wouldn't have wanted anything to do with is probably playing with his own dick right now. I don't really know what he's doing, but who gives a damn, right? But he's not there, so yeah, never say never, never say never. Asked why he decided to trademark his yes, yes, yes phrase, Bryan Danielson said this to the Daily Star. It's so funny how this happened. I have a manager who tries to get me things, and he does. He gets me all sorts of things, and I always say no to them because they mostly involve me selling people things, and I don't want to sell people things, right? All of a sudden, he texts me on like a Saturday morning or something, and he says, hey, yes, 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 you know, whoever had the trademark, and it wasn't WWE. Somebody had a trademark for it, and the trademark expired, and they didn't renew it. He said, do you want me to get it? I said, how much does that cost? And he told me it wasn't that much money, so I was like, oh, sure. Do I have any plans on doing anything with it? I don't know. I don't want to sell anybody anything, you know what I mean? So I'm just like, you know, I have it. If I do want to do something with it, it's there, and if not, you can't trademark the word yes, right? So it's like, it's the idea of yes, yes, yes. So if I wanted to do a yes, yes, yes podcast, which I don't want to do, I could, in theory, do that. Or if I wanted to sell t-shirts with yes, 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 which I don't necessarily want to do, I could do it. But I don't think you can stop anybody from saying yes. Naming those he feels are the best pro wrestlers today, Shawn Michaels told Good Karma Wrestling, I think Seth Rollins is a fantastic performer. That's me off the top of my head picking one. He's a guy that has unbelievable talent. AJ Styles is still a guy that I think is fantastic as well. The more I sit here and think about it, there are probably other guys that would come up, but I will say right now, for me, for my kind of style and what I enjoy out of matches, AJ and Seth are rocking pretty good. Explaining how his cameo appearance for WWE with Cody Rhodes came together, Arn Anderson said this on his Arn podcast. Coincidence-wise, I was going to be in Cleveland anyway, and I was doing a signing for WrestleCon. Cody, bless his heart, I will get a random text from him months after I haven't talked to him, and it'll be at 3 in the morning, and it's almost like it's in code. It was like we had a conversation, Triple H and myself, wonder what we could do to maybe have you come to one of the shows. According to his text, Triple H said that maybe some of the younger guys and ladies have met Arn, so maybe it would be a nice treat. During that same live event, Damian Priests would take on World Heavyweight Champion Gunther and pay tribute to The Undertaker by performing his move, Old School. Speaking about how an AEW stadium show in Australia might turn out, former WCW president and WWE Hall of Famer Eric Bischoff said this on his 83 Weeks podcast. I'm not saying it can't happen, but if you look at the success of Australian promotions, setting WWE aside over the last 20 years and their dismal failures, it's just, first of all, you have the cost. The expense is astronomical. This is not like running city venues here in the States. I would say the costs are essentially going to be not 3 times as high, but damn close. Somewhere between 2.5, and 3 times as high. Your expenses are just going to be, there is no television there. There's very little district. Nobody's watching the show in Australia. So you're bringing an American wrestling company that's on TV in America that nobody really knows about, beyond the hardcore wrestling fans that know about it through the internet. That's the only place that's available, and you're banking on putting 10,000 seats in an arena. And by the way, I was in Australia recently. It's a very expensive place. Inflation is really, we talk about it here in the States and around the world, and yes, it's an issue everywhere. It's really an issue in Australia. So to think that you're going to be able to put 10,000 people, you're going to convince 10,000 people to part with, I don't know what the ticket prices would look like, but they would have to be really high to help to even cover expenses. I just think unless there's a magic formula somewhere that I can't see, horrible, wouldn't do it. But it's exciting, this is not negative, okay? This is just honest. It's all, if you're going to take it as negative, take it as negative. I'm not a hater, just honest. So much of what we hear out of Tony Khan and AEW is hype. So much hype. So many big announcements. So many things are going to change the face of wrestling as we know it. It's just so now that when we hear this kind of AEW is going to Australia, something that represents growth and momentum and success, that's the perception that announcements like this make. I don't believe it. I'm cynical. I'm not steadfast to the point where I'm going to say this is absolutely not true. I don't know what's true and not true. I don't have details. I'm not behind the scenes. I'm not involved in conversations. I don't hear things. I don't pay attention to the things I do hear. Frankly, I probably hear a lot more than I remember because I don't pay attention to any of it unless it's from someone I'm getting information from, someone who I know is credible and doesn't have a clear agenda. But in this case, all this hype, the big announcements, oh, it's the most imminent, and oh, it's this is the most important time in AEW history, and oh, we're going to do a stadium show in Texas, and oh, we're going to Australia, in these major markets to create a bidding war. In the meantime, you can't draw flies. Nobody's watching your show. Your audience is free falling. There is no buzz outside of the internet, and the only buzz on the internet is from really hardcore, delusional, if I may say, AEW fans. Asked if he had heard of any plans to bring back Ricky Starks, who has not been seen in AEW for months, Sean Ross Sapp said this regarding the star's status with the promotion during a Fightful Select Q&A. Not that I heard. I haven't heard that he's been backstage or anything like that. During that same Fightful Select Q&A, Sean Ross Sapp said this about AEW's reaction to WWE putting a live event on at the same time and in the same city, Orlando, Florida, as AEW's Worlds End event. Based on the reactions that I've got, just a, well, of course they are type of thing. Yes, it will affect ticket sales. WWE is a very hot ticket right now, and it's their holiday tour, so that will do good. This is obviously intentional and a concentrated effort, and it's part of competition. It's the nature of competition and the way things work. Revealing the status of former WWE names that appeared for AEW, Ringside News said James Drake and Zach Gibson parted ways with WWE last year, and since then they have been on an absolute tear in many promotions. They made their AEW debut back in April, but ultimately didn't sign with AEW. The reason behind them not signing with the company has now been revealed. On the April 27th episode of AEW Collision, several former WWE stars made their debut, including the grizzled young veterans. They faced off against the Acclaimed in an exciting match. Despite all the hype surrounding their AEW debut, James Drake and Zach Gibson were unable to secure a victory against Max Caster and Anthony Bowens in the tag team contest. In June, it was reported that AEW was in contract talks with the grizzled young veterans, but their joining the promotion wasn't a certainty. An update from Sean Ross Sapp on a Fightful Select Q&A indicated that the two sides were far apart on money. It remains unclear whether negotiations between the grizzled young vets and AEW have continued or if they have since broken down. At a WWE live event, Randy Orton and Kevin Owens shared a moment in the ring with a young fan. For an update on the continuation of the feud between Seth Rollins and CM Punk in WWE, Ringside News wrote that according to a report by PW Insider, WWE may not officially kick off the Rollins-Punk feud until 2025, despite the ongoing feud between Punk and McIntyre, which is expected to continue through Bash in Berlin and possibly beyond. WWE sources suggest that the Rollins-Punk storyline could be delayed as part of the new WWE regime's focus on long-term planning. Revealing when he believes WWE will book The Rock versus Roman Reigns, Dave Meltzer noted on Wrestling Observer Radio, "My gut was Roman versus Rock for 2026 WrestleMania. It could still be what they do. Solo was there, and Jacob was there to pass the time to get there. Again, when you were talking about stuff that far out, there are a million things that can happen." He added this regarding The Rock returning to WWE down the line. "I certainly expect The Rock on Netflix a lot for the first couple of months, and Cena too for that matter. Addressing his future return to WWE after being taken out by the New Bloodline, Paul Heyman said this to Sam Roberts at Fanatics Fest NYC. "What I don't want to do is just be on television for the sake of being on television. Everything we do has to be relevant. That's the whole theory behind the island of relevancy. If I were to come back at SummerSlam with Roman Reigns, it wouldn't have meant anything. There was nothing for me to contribute to that moment. If I'd come back last week on television with Roman Reigns, there is nothing for me to do. I could have introduced him, okay, but that's a moment and it's not a moment that extends. It goes back to saying winning and losing matters. By orders of the tribal chief when I come back on television. If I come back on television when I do, that moment is going to set up a year's worth of storyline. I will come back when it is relevant for me to come back. When I'm needed to come back. When I can add to Roman Reigns and not just ride his coattails and hang off of his glory. I love Jimmy Hart, I really do. I have so much respect for Jimmy Hart, but I don't want to be Jimmy Hart carrying the boas for Hulk Hogan. I want to do something that contributes so much to the act that you sit there and say, I love Roman Reigns, but my God, I love him so much," with the wise man Paul Heyman. For an AEW status update on Saraya, Ringside News wrote that Saraya could find herself on the free agent market soon, as her contract with AEW is set to expire in September. Sources have told Fightful Select that while Saraya's deal includes option years that could extend her stay with AEW, there are ongoing discussions about her future with the company. The specifics of the option years have been a topic of internal debate, with some sources claiming that both AEW and Saraya Saraya hold options to extend the contract. However, what is clear is that the two sides are actively negotiating, whether it's for a new deal or the exercise of an existing option to extend her contract by another year. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all later.